Hello, Zach. I'm slightly overcaffeinated, and I'm also in a bathroom. The reason for which will become clear quite shortly, and despite all the coffee, no, it's not what you think. Now, Zach, you're obsessed with crack to an unhealthy level, he said, suddenly realizing that's probably not the first time that sentence has been said out loud. And in honor of that, your letter comes to you in the form of a listicle. 10 things which are unexpectedly different about living in Scotland, and why they're awesome. Zach, first up on the list is public restrooms, or as they call them here, toilets, which doesn't leave much to the imagination as to what exactly is going on in here. Now, Zach, behind me there, you can see what we'd normally refer to as a toilet stall. However, they call these toilet cubicles, and they have a magical property here. This is the view inside of a toilet cubicle, and as you can see, it's slightly different than what we're used to in the United States. In the US, we have gaps on either side of the door so big that your average grizzly bear could watch you while you're pooing from 6 miles away. Not to mention fitting underneath the gap in between the door and the ground. Now, I don't know who designed the stalls in the US, but to me, that's a pretty shitty idea. Now, as you can see, these stalls also have handy-dandy little indicators to let you know when somebody's sitting inside of them. Green means go. Red means no. Alright, let's get the hell out of here before somebody walks in and finds the crazy American talking to his phone in a bathroom alone. The next thing that's up on my list is very near and dear to my heart. Mainly because it terrifies me so much. To be fair, it's probably like my third biggest fear. And Zach, you know me pretty well, so I'm sure you know where this is going. That's right, it's bees, which are kind of difficult to get on camera, I now realize. Nevertheless, rest assured that there's roughly 1 billion bees right there. Now, Zach, back in the States, being this close to that many bees would throw me over the edge. I would normally freak out. Just ask Lex. I've literally tossed her in front of bees to save my own life. Now, as you know, I'm not even allergic or anything like that. They just terrify me. I don't know exactly why. Maybe I'm just a wuss, but I think it comes down to the fact that I was stung as a child, and ever since then, there's just been this thing in my head that freaks me out. But Scottish bees are different somehow. They're awesome. They're cute little flying puppy dog. They're big and fluffy, and they move really slow, and they make a cute little buzz. And best of all, Scotland has roughly all the flowers on the planet, which means the bees are far too busy to give a crap about what I'm doing. So I'm never afraid that I'm gonna be stung again. Albuquerque's a desert, so we have like 3 or 4 flowering plants. And because of that, the bees are pissed off all the time, so they just want to come up to you and like sting you in the eye. Or maybe not the eye, but at least the mouth. But Daniel, what's the next unexpectedly different thing? Well, I'm happy you asked. Driving. Now, I'm not referring to driving in the sense of, oh, but it's on the wrong side of the road. More specifically, I'm talking about traffic control measures, like roundabouts, which are actually extremely convenient. Roundabouts are way more common here than intersections are, and although they are a little hard to get used to at first, once you do get used to them, they help to keep traffic flowing in a very fluid way. Traffic jams aren't as much of a problem. Like, everybody just kind of keeps moving. And even then, once you do get to an intersection, which, as I said, is rare, another awesome thing happens. You know, it's like green, then yellow, then red, and then green again. It's a little bit different here. Red light. Green light. Now I have my own personal theories on why there's a yellow light in between a red and a green. I think one of the motivating factors is that there's so many cars with standard transmissions here. In the US, we're famously lazy, and so because of that, we all have automatics. So when a light goes green, you can simply just take your foot off the brake and hit the gas. But here, people actually have to take the time to let the clutch out and slip it. And if you're new to driving, when it goes suddenly green, you might panic and stall, and then everybody's gonna be pissed at you. But not here. You get the time to pleasantly move forward at your own pace. Now on to thing number, like 4, 5? I don't know, I'm not paying attention, and I don't know how to count anyway. For this one, we're at my friendly neighborhood local market. Kind of like Whole Foods, but Britisher. And while there are a million things that are different about shopping here, my personal favorite are the shopping carts. Or as they call them here, trolleys. And why is that, you ask? 2 things. 1, it's got a handy-dandy little guy here for your grocery list. 2, the back wheels turn, which means you can pull some mad tight drifts as you're pulling into the shopping center. That's some sick angle. I know, it's a relatively small thing, but I'm an idiot and I get pleasure out of things like that. Side note, Zach, look what I found. We've got to go run an errand to Edinburgh, so I might not be able to actually finish this today, because we are past the vernal equinox, which is also known as International Skip Leg Day. So we're going to be running out of sunlight soon, and I'll finish it tomorrow if that's the case. Further side note, Zach, we're traveling down the M9, and there's an interesting landmark coming up on our right-hand side that I wanted to show you. They're called the Kelpies, and you should Google them to see what they look like at night. Alright, Zach, we reach our destination, and at this point you may be wondering to yourself, what sort of errand would require 2 Americans to drive almost an hour to a completely different city? And actually, the answer's quite simple. We just needed a little taste of home. Complete with good old-fashioned American non-drifting trolleys.
It's so weird. It's like we went back home. I'm kind of freaking out a little bit.
Alright, so I got an entire cart full of groceries that'll last us for the next month or so. And then we overate on Costco hot dogs and pizza. I definitely feel like my American capitalistic consumerism quota has been filled for the month. I'm idest here in the parking lot and I don't feel like driving, but whatevs. So early. So much better. Nothing to shower and 10 or 15 cups of cheap Earl Grey can't fix. Speaking of, on to thing number 6, 7, 72, something? Showers. Now, upon initial investigation, this doesn't look very different from any shower that you'd see in the United States, but there's one major difference. Look at this wacky door. It seems like the UK has the exact opposite principles for all bathrooms in general. Public restrooms are extremely private. Private bathrooms are extremely public. We have a giant window there as well. And then this thing It just kind of opens like this. But why is it awesome, you ask? Well, it makes it easier to sneak in on your girlfriend while she's taking a shower and pinch her butt. Thing number 19-B, the weather. Everybody warned me about the weather here. And if you'd like to see my thoughts about the rain, then go to my last video, link in the description. But as you can see right now, it's a rather misty morning, but the sunlight's coming through it. And because the sun's coming through it, all the mist that you currently see behind me here is gonna be broken up in just a little bit. Then it's gonna be another beautiful day, just like every other day that I've had here. I mean, sometimes it's kind of a bit shitty, but in general, it's nice. Side note, another awesome thing that happens because of the mist here, as it condenses in the trees, you can hear that. Sounds like it's raining, coming down from the trees themselves. But anyway, in the words of the great Sean Corey Carter, on to the next one. I need tobacco, so we came to Tesco instead of Waitrose because Waitrose is a bit more expensive. Or, as the Scots would say, aye, 'tis dearer though. Which reminds me, that's probably difference number 56.2. They say dearer instead of more expensive. And that's just cute. I mean, that's charming. Difference number 43, section A.2. This is arugula, or as they call it here, rocket. Well, I think Americans would eat a hell of a lot more salad if the main constituent was rockets. Difference number pi, medicine. Zach, this is 16 tablets of 200 milligrams of ibuprofen. And here this costs £2 for a single package. In the United States, we can buy 500 tablets of those at Costco for like $3. Now I know what you're thinking, and thank you for keeping me honest. But Daniel, that doesn't make sense. Surprisingly different? Yes. How's that awesome though? Don't worry, they make up for it. It's candy coated. Thing number whatever, I'm not witty enough to come up with something clever that quickly. Sunrooms, or as they're known here, because everything has to be named something different just to be difficult, conservatory. Like this one, or this one. Or that one. Or this one that also happens to be the front door of their house. Or this one right in my very own backyard. Zach, conservatories are everywhere here. And granted, we are in my neighborhood, which was built in the Victorian period, when conservatories were much more popular. But even in other parts of the city, they're very, very common. And they're really nice. I mean, I love to hang out in my conservatory. That's where I drink my tea in the morning. That's where I eat breakfast, all that sort of good stuff. And they really are quite beautiful, but that's not really why I like them so much. I think that's just thriving with really decent literary metaphor. Hashtag English majors be like, hashtag bro, you even metaphor? Hashtag simile for life. And what is that metaphor? I'm glad you asked. It finally brings me to point number 10, the people. Now, I'm not sure exactly what I expected out of the people when I moved here. I probably just expected them to be similar to Americans. And in some respects they are. But just like the sunrooms here, the people are inviting, they're open, they're very bright and they're very warm, which came in really handy. Because as you know, when Lex and I first moved here, we ran into a lot of administrative problems that made it very, very difficult for us to settle down. I mean, we were about 5,000 miles away from home. We didn't know anybody here. All we had was each other, and, you know, I suck. But luckily, we made lots of friends really quickly. And they all gave us great advice and helped us out in ways that I can't even explain to you. The Scots genuinely care about who you are and what you're doing in your life, and they ask you questions, and they really want to know the answers, and they sit down with you. I've made more friends sitting at bus stops than I thought physically possible. And in Albuquerque, or to be fair, most of the United States, that would never happen. You never talk to a stranger at a bus stop. But that's not how it works here. Lex and I made great friends just walking into random stores and talking to the clerk, which provided us with the welcome we needed when we got here. Now, don't think I'm contradicting anything that I told Jesse the other week. Link in the description, wherein I discussed the feelings of being other. I think it's a very easy thing for someone to feel welcomed and othered at the exact same time. In fact, one could argue that in order to be welcomed, you must be othered as well. But regardless of whether or not I felt othered, I definitely felt welcomed. And I think that's the most major unexpected difference. In the United States, we other people as well. However, we're not very good at making them feel welcome. Let's be honest, we're kind of cold, we're harsh, we're callous, we're assholes. Well, it's not fair, not everybody is, but a lot of people are. And it's the exact opposite here. More people are friendly than they are assholes. Anyway, that's all I have for you today, Zach. I really hope you enjoyed your letter. And don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, all that sort of good stuff. Go look at my other videos and then tell all of your friends to do the same. Tell everybody. Do me a favor. Purchase some advertising time for the Rugby World Cup, which is happening right now, or maybe the Super Bowl in a couple months, and just have it be 30 seconds of my face with my YouTube address underneath it. Just do that for me. That'd be great. Thanks. Now hold the damn phone, Daniel. You're telling me you went all the way to Edinburgh but didn't even bother stopping by the Elephant House Cafe, where J.K. Rowling famously wrote Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone? And you didn't even bother going to Greyfriars Kirkyard, where the real grave of Thomas Riddle is? Calm down, Zach. Why don't you head on over to Lex's channel, Righting Wrongs. I bet you can figure out who helped her come up with that name. Where she's gonna have a video about her take on literary Edinburgh. So here we are in Greyfriars Kirkyard searching for Voldemort's grave. It's proving to be a little bit more difficult than we thought. I don't love. Do you think we're gonna solve this riddle?